What if I told you that one of the most profound stories of divine pursuit started with a man sleeping on a rock? The tale of Jacob's dream at Bethel completely transforms how we think about second chances and divine intervention.
That's such a vivid image. Here's this man who just committed massive fraud against his own family, now literally using a stone for a pillow hundreds of miles from home.
You know what's fascinating? This wasn't just some random stopover. Archaeological evidence shows Bethel was already an important Canaanite city called Luz, sitting about 10 miles north of what would later become Jerusalem.
Hmm. So this pivotal moment happened at what was already a significant crossroads. What exactly drove Jacob to this desperate situation?
Well, he had just pulled off what you might call the ultimate identity theft, disguising himself as his brother Esau to steal their father's blessing. We're talking about a blessing that carried enormous spiritual and material implications.
That's right. And this wasn't just about inheritance. This blessing was tied to God's covenant promises about the future of Israel and ultimately the coming Messiah.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Instead of divine punishment, Jacob experiences something completely unexpected. He dreams of this massive stairway stretching from earth to heaven, with angels ascending and descending.
You know what's remarkable about that imagery? Jesus later references this exact scene when speaking to Nathanael, essentially saying, I am that ladder. I'm the connection between heaven and earth.
Exactly. And that connection wasn't just symbolic. In the dream, God makes these incredible promises to Jacob, descendants as numerous as dust, land, and most importantly, that all peoples on earth would be blessed through his offspring.
Though Jacob's response shows he still had a lot of growing to do. He tries to negotiate with God like it's some kind of business deal.
Well, that's what makes this story so relatable, right? Here's a man who's encountering something profound, but still trying to control it, still thinking in terms of transactions rather than trust.
So, what happened to Bethel after this? I mean, it clearly became an important place in Jewish history.
Oh man, that's a fascinating trajectory. Initially, it became a major worship site, but later, under King Jeroboam, it actually turned into a center of idolatry. The prophet Hosea even renamed it Beth Aven, meaning house of wickedness.
That's quite a fall from house of God to house of wickedness.
And speaking of transformations, let's talk about how this experience changed Jacob. This wasn't an instant conversion. He continued struggling with trust issues and self reliance for years.
That's such an encouraging message for anyone listening who might feel like their spiritual growth isn't happening fast enough.
You know what's particularly striking? The contrast between Jacob and his brother Esau. They faced similar circumstances, but their responses couldn't have been more different.
That's right. While Jacob eventually surrendered to God's transforming work, Esau consistently chose immediate gratification over spiritual values.
And here's a mind blowing detail. Historical records show that the descendants of Esau, the Edomites, actually built their civilization in the rocky cliffs of Petra. Talk about choosing the temporal over the eternal. They literally carved their kingdom into stone.
That physical reality really mirrors the spiritual choices, doesn't it?
Before we wrap up, I think there's one crucial point we need to emphasize. This story reveals something profound about divine initiative. God doesn't wait for people to clean up their act before pursuing them.
That's really the heart of grace, isn't it? Getting what we don't deserve rather than what we do deserve.
And perhaps most encouragingly, this same pattern of divine pursuit continues today. The God who met Jacob at Bethel still meets people in their lowest moments, offering transformation and hope.